it's Monday, July the 21st. Good morning and a warm welcome to your perfect day start of the morning brief right here on Channels Television. I'm Edo State.
Yes, indeed. And what's more beautiful than the already beautiful day is you. Yes, you. Welcome to your perfect morning starter, where we all help you to make sense of it all. I am Bukola Koka.
Bukola, you have lines. I like that. Very good lines.
Of course. You're beautiful too, Kayode.
Oh, okay.
Handsome but beautiful.
Okay. I'll take that. It's a Monday morning. There's more to beauty than just the gender part of it. But what a weekend it has been, Bukola, and definitely events from the weekend will spill over into this week. And we're starting off from this controversial one that concerns the Red Chamber, the Senate. Well, the Senate is asking Kogi Central lawmaker Senator Natasha Akpoti-Addo to stay away from its proceedings, saying that the suspended lawmaker cannot resume just yet. In a statement on Sunday, Senate spokesman Yemi Adaramodu insisted that there was no subsisting court order mandating the Senate to recall the lawmaker before the expiration of her suspension. Well, Senator Akpoti-Addo was suspended in March for violating Senate rules after a seat arrangement brawl with Senate President Godswill Akpabio, whom she then accused of sexual harassment, an allegation which the Senate President had denied. Now, this response by the Senate is targeted at this comment that the senator made over the weekend in Kogi, where she was empowering her constituents. And she said that, well, she will resume at the Senate tomorrow, that's July the 22nd, Tuesday, in line with the judgment of the court, despite the appeal by the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. And in fact, she spoke about her suspension, how it has not stopped her from working for her constituency, but that it has hampered a major part of her responsibilities. So let's take a listen to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Addo.
Okay, so yes, the Senate President did appeal the entire judgment. One of the grounds he appealed was that the Federal High Court has no jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first place because it's issues that surround the National Assembly. And I have already spent pretty much over 4 months already. But the fact that I've been suspended, I keep saying this, I never stopped working. It took a whole lot of effort to follow up and get all of these things done. And we were just here last week where we flagged up the construction of 2 brand new smart markets, which I'm actually even going to go there later on today to see because they're already digging the foundation. And over there you can see we're putting up the maternity center over there. So I also gave 700 digital learning devices last week to the school. So pretty much it's a whole lot of work. And believe me, we have other interesting projects are waiting for the contracts, are waiting for their awards, and I'll come down here to flag up because these projects must be ended, must be completed by the end of the year. So I'm really busy. I did mention that every senator has 3 major functions: the legislative, which is the creation of laws and review of treaties. Then we have the oversight, which you oversight ministers and agencies, and then the third is representation, which I'm doing, whereby I identify the problems and the challenges of my community, and I make sure I present them and have them captured in the federal budget. And I have done pretty well with that. Of course, I do miss following up with my bills there, but it didn't stop me from working. But I have pretty much 2 months more before the 6 months expire. However, I have written to the Senate again, telling them that I'm resuming on the 22nd, which is on Tuesday, by the special grace of God. I will be there to resume because the court did make a decision on that. Now, they argue that it's an order. It's not an order, but it is a decision. And if you look at section 318, I think, of the Nigerian Constitution, it did mention that a recommendation forms part of a decision of a court. So whether it's a recommendation, a judicial decree, a sentence, or an order, they are all decisions, and decisions are binding on every Nigerian and every authority and every institution. So I'm going to be there live to attend. But I also know that the Senate will be going on recess very soon, maybe most likely next week for 2 months. That means by the time the Senate resumes, my 6 months would have lapsed. And I will go back, I'll resume. And yeah, I don't hope there'll be any more resistance because you can't apply the you can't go against the what is called double jeopardy rule, whereby you punish someone twice. So after the 6 months, you now go back to court or do extend or whatever. No, that will amount total abuse of power, which of course I do sense an abuse of power already. But that's for the courts and the public to judge. But so far, my people are not missing anything. As a matter of fact, I think we're one of the luckiest constituents so far. There's been a whole lot going on. We're all happy, and I'm really connected to my people and Nigerians as usual as well. I'm grateful for the love and prayers, and may God bless us all. Thanks.
Well, the senator representing Kogi Central there speaking, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. And first of all, it's remarkable to note that indeed during the duration of the continuing suspension, that she has kept busy, doing the work of, oversight and, of course, meeting the needs of her constituents. But it appears as if, despite the court decision, that both parties are still up in arms, because she's quite clear in, that soundbite that she will be resuming on the 22nd of July. That will be tomorrow, yes, indeed. But the Senate's position is that, she should steer clear of the National Assembly pending when due procedure takes its course. So is this going to be a clash of both parties in this continuing conflict between the senator representing Kogi Central and the leadership of the Senate now? It seems even more that it's, the senator on the one hand and the leadership, perhaps the entire Senate, depending, on the, temperature or the disposition of different blocks of the Senate to this particular matter. She's insisting that the court decision is binding, but the other party and, some other legal blocks would say that the obiter dictum is different, from the court's order, and the court did say that suspending her for that long is steep, considering the fact that she is there to represent constituents and they shouldn't suffer, because of a conflict. So let's see how this goes. But Kadi, there's more that has been ongoing nationwide. This time we'll head over to the police, where the Nigeria Police Force has responded to ongoing public discussion surrounding the planned peaceful protest by retired police officers over pension-related concerns, urging calm and clarifying its stance on the matter. In a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Olukayode Egbetokun, the Force reaffirmed its commitment to the welfare of its retired personnel, while cautioning against the politicization of the protest. And in that statement, the Force acknowledged the legitimacy of the agitation for improved pension conditions and the demand for an exit from the contributory pension scheme, that's the CPS. It also noted that the issue has persisted for over a decade and remains unresolved due to legal and administrative constraints beyond the powers of any Inspector General of Police. But this begs a question, Kayode.
Indeed. By the way, it's today. It's meant to start 7 a.m. Across the country, and there were questions around whether or not the police would support and provide protection as they ought to, understanding that these are retired police officers. In fact, I understand that some serving may also join that protest, and we know that police and protests are not two words you usually see in a sentence in terms of police personnel protesting in that sense. But I mean, this has come to a head in a sense, so they have to do what they have to do. It is what it is. So it's good to see that the police is saying, well, we'll provide some sort of protection, at least the ones that have given us notice and all of that, even though there's another debate around notice and all of that. But that is a way to go, okay? That is the way to go. In fact, by doing that, you sort of present yourself to the people as a people-oriented organization, not the messaging we hear around, nah, do not protest, it is unlawful, it's trying to bring down the image of the IGP. No, people have a right to voice their concerns. And if you want to really build trust with the citizenry, then this is where to start. If there's a protest, ensure you provide protection, ensure it is peaceful. And I bet you, it will improve relationship in terms of intelligence. People will want to give intelligence to the police because they see police as a friend indeed. There's a lot more we can talk about, but not to worry, Channels Television will be giving you live updates from those protests. We understand it's meant to start by 7 a.m. and then we'll check with correspondents on the field from time to time to see how that protest is going. So while we keep tabs on that, we'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll walk you through what we have on the show and, of course, the front pages. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. It's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television, and we have a packed show for you. But let's start with what the papers are saying, and we're pretty much spoiled for choice because the papers are busy in many different ways. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper, and it focuses on politics this morning. By the way, we have joining us Mr. Adeni Ifetayo, our regular media analyst that's always dependable. Welcome.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here physically.
It's a pleasure to have you, as always.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's look at the Vanguard, Mr. Ifetayo. Why Obi El-Rufai are yet to join the ADC? And this is ascribed to the interim national secretary of the party, Mr. Bolaji Abdullahi, in fact, a former cabinet member in the past administration. Let's take a look at the insight. Ex-PDP Governors Forum DG joins ADC. Obedience won party against selling presidential ticket to highest bidder. You could ask, what's the obedience concern in this one? Have they joined the ADC? Of course, you get to answer that, but let me just get done with the riders. Omo Agege has no plan to leave APC, but Ayiri Emami. Well, there's more insight to that, I believe, in the papers. No ADC lender can inherit Buhari's 12 million votes. That's ascribed to Okechukwu. Speak to this, Mr. Adeni.
Yeah, first and foremost, you know, there are some by-elections, and this Peter Obi, Rufai need to, they have their party member who have gotten the form, who are going to the election. So, like they said, I said that, oh, they giving them a kind of leave, let them sort out that they fully back in the fold. And talking about that as well, you will notice that Peter Obi, he has physically be present in ADC movement or coalition, so to say, and the number is growing, is getting bigger. Those political juggernauts from different political parties. So it's not a matter of 12 million votes. It's not Buhari now that is going to stand, you know, in the ballot paper. Is another person. And looking at the indices, the economy, the security challenges, those are the things that can swing both in your favor or against you. So those are the things we should be talking about. And of course, if you don't put your house in order, I'm not sure you stand a chance when forces come together to say this is our ambition. I just hope that, like somebody said, that they shouldn't give it to the highest bidder, and they're going to make it transparent. But to me, if I won't say there's an agreement or moral arrangement or agreement that if they're not, they are going to take a shot for 8 years, which is 2-term tenure, and the South. I'm just saying, I'm not a card-carrying member. If they can make it to go to the South, say let's support this. Since your own ambition is to get somebody who is in place, to get them out so that you can give a good governance to Nigerians.
I'm just trying to picture the coming months and years, particularly first, politicians are being politicians. As you said, they are waiting for the elections. So I don't know if this qualifies as anti-party activity, because they're sort of eating their cake in their, I won't say old parties now, because it's still there, but they are future old parties, and then they're still frolicking with the ADC. But I imagine when elections come, wouldn't that confuse voters eventually? Because today, or at least they voted for, let's say, a candidate in the Labour Party, and then you have to tell them that same candidate is now in the ADC, so you have to vote, or will those candidates, would you advise them to stay in the Labour Party while Peter Obi moves to the ADC, or does Peter Obi stay in the Labour Party but still backed by the coalition? I don't know.
You know, Nigerian politics is so dynamic. So you will remember, I think during the last election, I think in this particular state, or 2015, when a presidential candidate of APC said in Ogun State, let me say it, and say, presidential election, vote for APC, but when it comes to governorship election, vote for the candidate of your choice. So you can see that sometimes, yes, they will lose some votes, and some of these people, they also have their structure, their follower, that they have a means of communication, whether WhatsApp group or whatever it is. So within the next 1 week, when you have this vote before the next vote, that this is where we are putting our heads to. So I'm sure they want to take a shot at the federal level, so they should be able to coordinate that.
Interesting. So let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper is next, and it leads with a Monetary Policy Committee. That's the CBN's organ that is responsible for deciding the interest rate, or the MPR. You see, MPC caught in rate cut trade-offs as banks demand CRR review. So that's the cash reserve ratio. Don't worry, don't get lost in all of the terms. But you can see some sort of pictorial by the Guardian this morning, and it's weighing what happens if the interest rates go up or interest rates go down. So if they go up, loan rates and credit card rates go up, bank savings and deposit rates go up, but consumer spending goes down. That's if the interest rates go up. But if the interest rates go down, at least we expect that it should be cheaper to borrow if it trickles down to the banks, because there's another entirely. But you see, loan rates and credit card rates go down, bank savings and deposit go down, but consumer spending goes up. At the end of the day, I think this is targeted at inflation too.
Yes.
So I don't know, what options do you see ahead? Because this is a thorny issue for this government. If it's able to improve the lot of Nigerians economically in terms of their purchasing power and all that, I think it'll be a major win, but it's been very tough.
Yeah, you know, it's so dynamic that banks, I stand to be corrected, they make what we call abnormal profit. It's so much, and I think the government, you know, you can call the banks MD, let's review this. Our people are complaining, their purchasing power is getting low, and if you want to, you know, reduce the interest so that more borrowing, so that they can get their business running or scaling up and all of that, which will bring about more employment and all of that. So, but if you keep on skyrocketing the interest rate, which will make it difficult. Now you get a loan, you'll be paying 27% or thereabouts, and to talk about the logistics, the overhead, so even your take home might not take you home. So I think if they can get this correctly, it will definitely win them some votes coming 2027, because whatever policy they are doing is just all about 2027.
Well, they'll tell you that the CBN is independent of the
he will
politics.
pay the piper dictate the tune.
But you know, they held interest rates the last time.
Yeah.
We've seen inflation drop from 22.97 to 22.22.
Yeah.
Again, whether people feel it is another thing entirely. But we'll wait to see. The meetings will take place today and tomorrow, so we'll see how that comes up.
And we hope that there is a stay also on the monetary policy rate again this time, such that you can, you know, further enjoy the gains. But this Nigeria also, you know, looks at the economy in another sense. Oil price crash, dangers ahead for Nigeria. Economists warn that federal government's 2025 budget faces threat over global energy crisis. Say projects may stall while borrowing looms amid fiscal uncertainties. I wonder how you're weighing in on this particular disposition of economists towards the you know, global energy crisis, because in the case of Nigeria, there are peculiarities. There are supposedly savings from subsidy, increased allocation to states, and, you know, in that sense, And then there's also, of course, increase in non-oil revenue.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there are revenues here and there when you also add loans secured from international financial institutions. So how significant should be the impact of oil price crash on Nigeria's revenue earnings and by extension, the economy?
I would say it's not this time around that we'll be hearing of oil price crash, globally. And if you keep on doing the same thing, you keep on getting the same answer. I think it's high time they should look inward, like non-oil revenue, pay more attention to it and all of that. And whatever revenue you get from point A, B, and C should be judiciously used, because management is very key. You just discovered that they said some monies are missing, the projects that the money have been released, they are not even getting to 15%, execution and all of that. Those are the things they should look into to make sure whatever little resources we have, regardless of what is happening globally, let's use it judiciously, and they can as well reduce the borrowing, unless it's for critical infrastructure that whatever we generated internally cannot take care of. And if they take care of management, I'm sure we will get better off whether global oil price crash or whatever it is.
Okay. Because clearly our budget benchmark at 75 is way higher than what it is. That's the price 69, and we expect that there's more uncertainty in the future. So every passing day, we're losing money, at least $6, which is a lot.
In between, very.
When you multiply it by the millions of barrels.
Yeah.
But let's go to Abuja Inquirer and take a look at what's happening in our capital city. The Abuja Inquirer has a story on Uni Abuja, Wike battle over land grab allegation, Varsity Mall's petition to Tinubu. So this land matter, clearly it's the FCT, and land is big deal in the FCT, but it's not going away anytime soon. So it's Uni Abuja and the FCT minister, one an institution, another the head of an institution who's also been described as an institution himself. But this is one issue that has not gone away. The reports around his son getting land, a lot of people not being happy in terms of the land allocation, him saying, well, we're no more doing what they used to do in the past. Now it's only for those who really go through the whole process. So it's been a lot of controversy. I don't know, is this for the president to resolve? Or, I mean, why do we keep doing that? Aren't there laws to actually...
Yes, when it comes to two institutions, at a loggerhead, I think this is high time, especially when it has to do with FCT, Federal Capital Territory. And this is high time, I think the presidency should wade into the situation. You come with your facts, let's look at it. And whoever is found culpable should be punished.
Why the presidency?
Because
aren't there laws to look at this?
There are laws. Who is going to sue the FCT minister, or who is going to even the Abuja, the University of Abuja as an institution? Sometimes they say where two elephants fight, the grasshopper, but just to serve as a deterrent. And knows some of those things also happen in other agencies and all of that. But if they could be transparent with this and let the Nigerians see what has happened, what has transpired, I think it will serve as a deterrent for those who are being entrusted with the public office or with being in charge of this and that, to take more than they can chew for themselves. Or you are there to serve the public, and I think the interest of the public should override whatever personal or family ambitions that you have.
It sounds really simple. I mean, it sounds logical. That's what it should be. But the practice is something else entirely. Okay.
And it's also a subject of politics, as far as the leading officials in the FCT is concerned. But let's go over to the Nigerian News Direct, which speaks to more politics in the polity. No anointed candidate for 2027 presidential elections. That's ascribed, of course, to the ADC, the product of the new coalition. And there are just a few insights. Supporters don't speak for Atiku or Obi. Opposition coalition cautions camps as Binani dumps APC, joins ADC in dramatic twist. And of course, we also heard earlier last week that another senator had left the Labour Party to join the ADC. But as we look more at, the formation of this coalition, are you getting a sense, in line with what the ruling party says, that because of the many big interests involved, that it was going to disintegrate before it even
No, I'm not seeing any
comes together wholly?
No, I'm not seeing any disintegration, because you can see day by day the number, kept on increasing, and these are the political figures who have their own numbers as well, who have their own followers as well. And the only thing I can say that they should be clear from beginning where, because the issue of zoning will come up, and if you want to make it open, like I said to someone that if they should make it open, I know somebody that were mad. I'm just saying from the past experience anyway, if I'm to go by that experience that had happened.
Would it be the PDP presidential candidate in 2023?
Yes. It was throw it open.
Yes.
So I think Mr. Obi doesn't stand a chance.
They should be able to come from beginning. That has been my own agitation, that come up and said, we are coming together. We are supporting a candidate from this region. Let's make it open. So if you are in, you are in. If you are not in, then it's not that 2 months or 3 months before the primary, or maybe 2026, you now be fighting, the primary, they said it will go to north or go to south, and it will. So those are
but then that would mean the other interests would have to look for other, parties to fill their interests, to fill their ambitions.
No, if they have the interests of Nigeria, that's what I say.
And then they would lose the numbers.
No. They might not. What I'm saying is, from beginning, let the picture be clear.
Right. Let's know where we're headed.
God bless you. Let's know where we are headed, and we know that we are going against this person or this party who is producing. You can see they said the Emir of Daura have said that this is our candidate for 2027, which I feel that it should be political, be neutral. You can see what I'm saying. So since you are going against this force, we are coming together to give Nigeria a better candidate and give them good governance, and we are going to zone it to this particular region. Every one of us, we have agreed we are going to support whoever emerges, whatever candidate that emerges from that region. So Nigerians, we know, even disobedient, we know, okay, yes, at least we are all in, and other party that come up to form the coalition.
We're watching the politicians as they watch the polity with every step that they move. So whatever they do, we're waiting here to interpret it. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Adeni Ifetaya, for coming through on this one. It's been interesting, and we look forward to having you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, indeed. And we're not quite done yet as far as what the papers are saying. There's also the front pages of social media, and that will be time for a review of your thoughts. But we'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll begin our first talking point on the show. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, the news has been making the rounds. It's got a lot of people concerned when they saw the NCDC's public health alert issuing a nationwide warning on cholera, yellow fever, dengue fever, and the rest. We have joining us on the program, as you can see, the NCDC Director General, Dr. Jide Idris, is live with us from our Abuja studio. Good morning, Dr. Idris. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to you, and nice being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's great to see you, and sometimes when we see you as well, there's always concern, but hopefully this is to ensure that we don't have a bigger challenge on our hands. But I want you to speak to us, because looking through the nationwide alert that was released on July the 16th, where you gave warnings about cholera, as of the epidemiological week of June the 23rd to 29th, 34 states reported cases, Zamfara accounting for 32%. Other states with high cases include Bayelsa, Adamawa, Delta, Lagos, and Rivers. So what kind of situation do we have on our hands, Dr. Idris?
Well, let's be frank, we're detecting this disease much earlier, which is a good sign. Now, because of that alert by NIMET, about flash floods and flooding in some states. And that was the reason why we needed to let people know that with flooding and all, there are health risks, especially those of them that are caused by flooding or water. That's waterborne diseases. And the most serious one is cholera. And that's why we felt it necessary. We have cholera throughout the year, but around the rainy season, the incident goes up. We see more cases. And that's why it's always good for people to be on the alert. And I need to let them have the reason why we have that high increase. When you have floods or flash floods, this running water moves again with all sorts of chemicals, waste, animal waste, diseases that are swept into our water tables, drinking water. And this is how this is occur. Cholera is a major one. But during rainy seasons too, especially in some parts of the country, we have high incidences of malaria, dengue fever, and yellow fever, because this is carried by mosquitoes, specific mosquitoes. And you see these mosquitoes breathing in stagnant water between receptacles, tires, potholes, all over the place. And that's when you have these water bodies, they give rise to breeding sites for mosquitoes. Sorry, I can't see the screen. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, loud and clear, Dr. Idris. Please go ahead.
Yeah, every breeding sites for mosquitoes, and the more water you have, the more mosquitoes breed. Unfortunately, the two types of mosquitoes we have, slightly different from those ones that are carried by, that cause malaria. That's what Aedes aegypti. They're responsible for yellow fever and dengue fever. And yellow fever and dengue fever, they also fall into the class of what we call viral hemorrhagic fevers, same class as Ebola and those things. And that's what the key. A case of yellow fever is an outbreak. Just a case of dengue fever too is an outbreak. That's why, again, we needed to alert people. So in these matters, for cholera, the basic thing is drinking water, basic personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, stop open defecation, drain your environment. And for yellow fever, for malaria, the easiest way is to reduce breeding size of mosquitoes. If you reduce breeding size, you reduce the number of mosquitoes, and of course, the number of bites. And to prevent bites again now, I expect people to wear long sleeve clothing, sleep under mosquito nets, that's insecticide-treated nets, and try to drain all these funny water puddles, containers near at the back of your houses. They're very easy. And yellow fever, again, the easiest way to deal with this is yellow fever vaccine. And that's why yellow fever vaccine gives you long life immunity. And that's why we encourage people now to check their vaccination status, especially children and adults, to get these vaccines. Dengue fever, there is the vaccine for dengue fever, but we don't have that in this part of the world right now. But again, it's the same preventive measures that we use for mosquitoes, use for malaria, use for yellow fever. You need to do that for that. For cholera, cholera is a matter of access to water. It's a matter of personal hygiene, environmental hygiene. And for governments, it's also related to physical planning. You don't allow water, drain your water, let your drainage system be perfect. You should not allow them to be blocked. So there are many things. Everybody has a role to play. The people themselves have a role to play. Governments have a role to play. A lot of these cases are found in the states, and that's why we are meeting with all the states. We're working with our partners and funders to help with this. I had a meeting with the commissioners of health a few days ago in Lagos, and this is where we address these issues. But one thing is important is that if people do not report cases, it is more dangerous for us as a people. The more cases we report, the more attention and address we take to this. We send people out. Take, for instance, what happened with dengue fever. Apparently, cases, but they were not diagnosed as dengue, they were diagnosed as malaria or fever. Unfortunately, to malaria, dengue fever, yellow fever, they present similarly. And that's why, again, do not self-medicate. Try and visit healthcare facilities where this diagnosis can be made. Unfortunately, again, we need to address our colleagues in the tertiary institutions where they have the facility to make this diagnosis. Once they make diagnosis like this or they detect again, they need to report through the state ministries of health, then to NCDC. There we can mount appropriate response. Unfortunately for dengue fever, some of these were going on 2-3 weeks before we were alerted. People were just having fever, etc., until we move people in without the diagnosed dengue. So that's the essence of this alert. Let people know what kind of risk we're facing. We need to let them know what to do. And more importantly, again, report any case like so that we can mount appropriate response early enough to reduce the number of deaths.
Well, we can't talk enough about, this need for sensitization. And thank you indeed for that summary of the awareness of how individuals should respond to it nationwide. But before this alert on cholera, dengue fever, and the other one, the third one, there was a multi-hazard response to the cholera outbreak, which, of course, has been classified as a preventable disease. But Nigeria has been recording cases, according to the WHO, which is more than 1,500 as at, I believe, June 2025. Is this acceptable, considering the national response approach to combating cholera, regardless of the climatic conditions that predispose the spread of the infections? Shouldn't the NCDC, in partnership with the states, have reined in on the spread so far?
Yes, you're quite correct, and that's what we do at NCDC. We look at the climate risks, incidences throughout the year. And before we expect this to start, we start the preparation alerting the states. You see, the problem is that a lot of this happens in the states. The states themselves need to get prepared for things like this. And this is where we have a bit of challenge. And that's why, again, that before this rain started, we actually prepared materials to send to the states, especially those states that are vulnerable to floods, just for them to be prepared, whatever they will need in terms of to combat cholera, to treat cholera. And that's why the states is to actually now gear up again. Now, NCDs cannot be everywhere for obvious reasons. The states should have their own responsibilities. And that's why in the coming year, the emphasis now is on building states' emergency preparedness and response capabilities. And that's why, again, this engagement is very key. We're working with the states now to develop those capacities. A lot of states are responding. They're taking up a challenge. If we recollect again, for the dengue thing, the Commissioner for Health himself came out again and declared an emergency decision. Unfortunately, it came a bit late. So we will continue to do what we need to do to sensitize the states. That's that the preparedness, they need to know when to start. That's why we have that climatic, what do you call a calendar, natural calendar again. So before this, we expect the next round of cases. They need to start preparing. And that preparation requires so many things. Building an infrastructure, training people, stockpiling commodities that require, build diagnostic capabilities. These are things, again, that are continuous. A lot of states are building up these facilities again now. They're responding. Other states, again, we are working hand with it. It requires training. It requires funding. It requires a lot of human resources. So I'm not going to talk about challenges. It's that we'll continue to do our best to avoid all this, to reduce the incidence of this. But more importantly for cholera, if you have it, but if your drainage system is not good, if your water system is not good, if your sanitary facilities are not good, there's very little you can do, and that's why you need to change behavior. So the people themselves need to be aware. So public awareness is key. You do at the national level, but I think each state, again, is supposed to carry on this in their state. They need to domesticate this program, domesticate these awareness campaigns in their various states. Each state has its own different cultural practice, traditional practice. They have this. So we're working hand in hand with them. We send the state rapid response to these states, especially those of them we feel are most vulnerable, to assist them.
All right.
We'll continue to do our best as things go along.
Well, Dr. Idris, maybe to push this further home so people understand how important this is, which is why we're spotlighting it. I do hope you can hear me, Dr. Idris.
Yeah, okay. Fred, okay, carry on. I can hear you now.
Oh, great. Just to push this home, Dr. Idris, I'd like you to put a figure to the death toll recorded so far, at least on the dashboard that you have, based on the last period you monitored. What has been the death toll, either for yellow fever, cholera, dengue, and the rest? What has been the death toll? And on the flip side, if you can speak to it, how well is the malaria vaccination going in Nigeria?
Well, for yellow fever, luckily we only have one. One death is a huge one, but only one now for yellow fever, and all the states are taking necessary precautions. Dengue fever is mostly in Edo State. We are trying to correlate the number of deaths now because they reported very, very late. So I know that from the figures I have, there's about 11 or 13. But we're trying to cross-check that. That cross-check makes that NCDC officials go to the states now, look at their data, go to the local website to confirm and corroborate the figures they have. Malaria vaccines, I know it's being handled by the Malaria Control Agency. I think it's still in the what do I call it? It's not nationwide right now because I'm not too sure we have enough. But again, it's a slow thing. And so I can't give you full details on that because I don't deal with malaria issue, but I know that the vaccines are here and they're implementing them so slowly. They need to try them.
Dr. Jide Idris, we have to thank you so much for your time. This is a very important conversation, so we are spotlighting it, but we'll definitely be keeping track with you and other agencies supporting this. We've been speaking with the Director General of the National Center for Disease Control, Dr. Jide Idris. Thank you and wish you the very best, sir.
Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure.
So there you have it. Let's all stay on guard, stay alert. Our health is very important, particularly at this time when we have flooding across the country. We'll take a moment now. When we return, we'll talk about politics. Mr. Peter Obi, the warning that came from Edo State, the police ban in Kaduna. What exactly is going on? Well, the Edo State government is joining us to clarify these issues, and we have representation from the Obedient Movement. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the program, and time now to talk a bit of politics, particularly with a view to what's happening in Edo State. Of course, we recall that visit by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party to Edo State, the College of Nursing specifically. And after that, we've also seen that viral video where the governor of Edo State was addressing supporters, and he said indeed that, when next Mr. Peter Obi wants to visit Edo State, that he must get clearance, else his safety cannot be guaranteed. And of course, he also said that following that visit, violence erupted in some parts of Edo, wherein some people were killed. So we want to get clarity on the statement of the governor and, of course, the disposition of the Obedient Movement to this particular event unfolding in the polity. And joining us is the Commissioner for Information in Edo State, Honorable Paul Ohobamo. And we'll also have joining us this morning on the program, Madam Nana Kazauri, the Director of Strategic Communications of the Obedient Movement. Thank you so much for joining us, lady and gentleman, on the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So I'm going to start with you, Nana, for good reason. The Edo State government has put out a statement clarifying that the governor's position to the visit by your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, to the state was not a threat, that indeed, as governor of Edo State, he's the chief security officer and has the right to take decisions to protect the people. How satisfactory is that response to the obedient camp?
It's gone beyond the obedient camp. Good morning, Bukola. It's good to see you this morning. And to everyone else in the studio, good morning. It's gone beyond the obedient movement. It's an infringement on the fundamental rights, you know, as provided by Section 41 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And it's against his rights for free movement. And it was a direct threat. You know, you paraphrase, but I remember him saying, Peter Obi's security can never be guaranteed, even though I am also paraphrasing. And he said, I am serious about it. You understand? We don't buy that explanation. He wasn't giving a security brief. He wasn't speaking to security officers. And I would have expected that by now the IG of police, the NSA would have had very strong words, very, very, very strong words for the governor of Edo State. It's clear that they are rattled by us. It is clear that they are maybe trying very, very hard to impress their paymasters. It's okay to protect your party. It's okay to protect, you know, your political ambition, but it's not okay to issue threats to people who have come to do charity in your state. It's not okay to issue threats for somebody who is just going about doing good. And when a governor speaks in that manner, what he's saying is he has dropped the ball on the people within the geographical location of his state. That was a clear threat to Mr. Peter Obi's life by saying that you cannot secure that he never even said, I just come over so that we can provide security for you. Those were not the words that came out. That was a veiled threat. And it's cause for concern for well-meaning Nigerians, because we have freedom of association, freedom of movement, freedom of speech are our constitutional rights. So when somebody at that high level comes out and speaks so recklessly, it's quite shameful, to say the least, and it doesn't bode well for the governor himself. It doesn't speak well of him. Whatever brand he's trying to bring to the fore, it's quite an embarrassment on his case. And I can imagine that the people who work for him will have I have always said that damage control is a very expensive venture. I'm sure that they must have a lot of work on their table. Remember, Edo State indigents pride themselves in being obedient. We won Edo State during the last elections. So for you to come and threaten somebody for visiting the state, doing good, and, it just shows that, he was majoring on minor things, talking about 15 million donation. No, that's not the point. The point is, how well do you care about your healthcare system? The last speaker just put it plainly. The dengue, in fact, I just put that on the note, the dengue fever is highest in which state? Edo State. The governor should be looking at security. He should be looking at the healthcare system of his state and not threatening people who have come to be of assistance, whom have chosen that, in my life, what's left of it, I want to do charitable things using my own funds and goodwill. Education should be important to the governor of Edo State, not bad grammar.
Let's expand the conversation now. Yeah. Let's expand the conversation now, Nana, and take it to Honorable Ohobamu. I'm sure there are quite a number of things that she has said that you would like to respond to. But while you're at it, we'll also need you to clarify the position expressed by the governor that following that visit, there was violence and a number of persons died. What is the evidence that has been linked to the visit by Mr. Peter Obi to Edo State? Okay, we'll get back to Honorable Ohobamu shortly, but let's bring it to you now, Nana. The state government is saying that after Mr. Peter Obi's visit, that violence occurred. How do you respond to that? Is there any any evidence to the effect that you are aware of that that was tied to the visit by your principal to Edo State?
Absolutely not. There's no evidence to that effect. I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude, but then the truth of the matter is the state governor of Edo State really does have a very wild imagination. And for him to have said people died, violence erupted, you're a journalist. That's the job of journalists. We're not aware. Nothing like that came out until he just on a whim came up with the story and imagined 3 people dead in Edo State. No such thing happened, and it's just unfortunate. Honestly, it's really unfortunate that somebody who is the state governor of such a vibrant, educated, fantastic group of people would come and stoop so low to tell such brazen lies that people died as a result. Trust and believe that if such a thing happened, we would all know, we would all have heard about it. We wouldn't just be hearing about it days later, almost a week after Mr. Peter Obi left, that there was violence, that there was, those are just allegations, and it's not true. I don't believe that it is true. Nobody has been able to bring out any proof. And with the way information is disseminated, with the advent of social media and young people, trust and believe that if such a thing really did happen and not from a figment of imagination of the Edo State governor, by now we would have had that information. So there's no truth to it.
There's more to explore as far as visits by your principal to states is concerned. We'll touch on Kaduna as well. But I'm hoping now that Mr. Hobamu is ready for us to provide clarity and indeed articulate the position of the Edo State government to this. Mr. Hobamu, I'm sure you have quite a lot to respond to, and then also tell us if there's evidence to prove that the violence spoken to by the governor in that viral video has anything or any links with Mr. Peter Obi's visit.
Thank you very much. When Madam Nana was talking, there was power outage. Although I gathered certain things she said. The first one, that it was an outright threat by Governor of Edo State that Peter Obi should take permission, a sort of clearance, and that Peter Obi has a constitutional right, fundamental right, the right to move anywhere. But my question is, of these two rights, rights of movement and right to life, which one is more important? What the governor did was not threat, but a sort of security adversary. He only, like any other responsible leader, told Peter Obi that when next you are coming, please inform the government. There is no way Peter Obi could have come to Edo State with movement of troops. If anything happens otherwise, and Peter Obi is the victim, it is the governor that will be blamed. Because we all know there is resurgence of violence, kidnapping, killings in Edo State. Even though the governor inherited it, he has started destroying the fertile ground upon which they have been operating. When Peter Obi visited Edo State on the 7th of July to do what he did, no one is against it. But it was even a day that the police command of Edo State warned that there shouldn't be any gathering. It was a day the police command, the state security officer warned that people should not gather. And the reason is because 7th of July is always the Founders' Day celebration of the New Black Movement. So because of that, they banned gathering. So in the first place, even Peter Obi violated that order. It is because it is Peter Obi. If someone else of lesser status would have done that, he would have been arrested. So what the governor is saying is that when you are coming, because the governor also does that, he visited Kano. He told Kano governor that he would be coming to Kano. He went to Kano with just 2 people. So it was the Kano governor that provided security, everything. That is the protocol, it's the standard practice. And Peter Obi knows this. He exhibited this while he was governor with brutal efficiency. Of course, you saw when he Rufai himself confessed how he was detained and arrested 48 hours by Peter Obi in 2013. So the whole idea, they are bringing politics into it, the obedience group, I appreciate it. It's a socio-political pressure group. They will support them. But that idea of say the governor went so low and used certain derogatory, demeaning language on the governor is very unfortunate. The governor is focused. All this we are doing is behind distraction. I ought to be busy now for tomorrow's event. Another achievement by Okpebholo as a governor of Edo State. We are commissioning the new Edo line with over 120 new highest buses. Edo line that was abandoned by previous government. All these are, triumph of imagination. But I'm here now saying what ought not to be. Because Peter Obi knows as a governor, as a former governor, when President Olusegun Obasanjo visited Edo State, after he left office, during the reign of Comrade Adams Oshomole, he came to Edo State on a private visit. But he first went to meet Governor Oshomole to pay a courtesy. And he said, I am in the state for a private visit, but it is necessary for me to report that I'm in town. Well, that's how it goes.
Commissioner,
when the governor was going to Akwa Ibom, he did the same thing. That is Okpebholo now. He informed the governor of Akwa Ibom. When he was going to Delta and even Imo, other Hope Uzodinma, he did the same thing. So I don't think we are creating tension where there is no tension. Even Jesus Christ, who said, I will come like a thief in the night, he has given notice. Followers of Christ and Christians are now waiting, prepared for him, that Christ will come at any time. So you can't go into any house without knocking. And you wait for the person to ask, who is that? Who is the person? Then you tell the person, I am so. He said, come in. That is the way it's done in civilized clans.
Well, speaking of coming, let me come in here quickly, Commissioner, and just speak to the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, who is asking that Governor Monday Okpebholo apologize to Mr. Peter Obi and withdraw the threat. In fact, he quotes Section 33 of the Constitution of Nigeria as amended, Article 4 of the African Charter on Human Rights. It says that the governor's statement violates those provisions. Will the governor be apologizing, withdrawing what has been described as a threat?
The governor, for me, the governor has not done anything amiss. What has he said amiss? I even read on a platform, one PDP platform, saying that Governor Okpebholo should not be blamed, that the commissioner and the chief press secretary should come out to do damage control. And my question is, what damage that will need to be controlled now? Because for me, the governor just said the thing, and that is the standard practice. You don't just get into a state and then you gather people for political reasons. You can do anything you want, but the governor will be aware in terms of crowd control, your security, the awareness of everybody, including Peter Obi. So if they are so pained about this, let's test it in the court of law. Let's test it. The court is here to adjudicate.
All right, Commissioner, let me go to Ms. Nana Kazore and just get the process of Mr. Obi's visit. What is the protocol like, and what has been the experience in other states? Has he had to inform the governor or, I don't know, security agencies? What is the protocol, the SOP for Mr. Peter Obi's visit? Yes, he's a prominent man. We can't take that away. Former governor, presidential candidate, came third in that election. He's a big figure, not just to the obedience in Nigeria at large. So what is the standard operating procedure for his visit? Does he really have to inform governor, security, and all before he visits a state? And we'll come to the Kaduna bit, which has to do with the rally, but speak to the SOP, please.
I'm not aware that he's entitled to have to call anybody to tell them he's visiting a state, as it's within his constitutional right to have right to freedom. I do know that on certain occasions he always reaches out to the people, because he is a man of means. He's a former governor. I do know, I have been there where he has made phone calls, but in this particular case, that was his second visit to that particular institute, the school. It's a nursing school. That was his second time going there. He had given an initial 20 million, and he had promised to come back to be able to assist them with infrastructure and, tools that they would use for learning tools to be able to equip the school better. I'm not in protocol, and I don't make what's not my business. My own is he's a Nigerian. He's entitled to move freely as long as he's causing no harm to anybody. As I don't know if you know of John Donne. There was something he said. He said, the death of any man diminishes me because I'm involved in mankind. Nana Kazore is going to paraphrase today and say, the threat to life of any man diminishes me because I am involved in mankind. People should not, under any circumstance, be threatened or asked not to come to your, it's so crass. It just reeks, it's such poor taste. It is so disrespectful. And, the commissioner, I can see that he's quite a reasonable fellow. It's a difficult, I'm sure in his heart of hearts, he knows that it's an uphill battle. And I do support the senior advocate of Nigeria. I was on another program on Saturday, and I did say that, this is actionable. The law should take its course. And so I think it's safe to say that obedience will come out again. This time, Nigerians in our entirety are going to come out, and we will say, all eyes on the judiciary, if at all we choose, and our principal choose to take the matter to court, because it's enough. The threat to life, it's such silly politics. You can't use people's lives and people's goodwill to try to score brownie points. This is just wrong. And it smirks of irresponsibility from the governor. It is the governor's, nobody's putting this, casting aspirations on anybody else but Mr. Pabolo himself. That's all I have to say. I really don't want to talk about this because it is unfair for Nigerians to feel. Nigerians go through so much. I'm one of the people who always says, we're such a resilient people. Yes, we are gradualists, as we're called in political science, but it doesn't mean that we're stupid or we're foolish or that we should be treated as if we are second-rate citizens because some people found themselves in places of authority.
Two quick issues, if you can hear me. Two quick issues. One, will Mr. Peter Obi be visiting Edo State? Does he plan to visit, and would he maybe be making calls? But has this hampered him in any way? Has it downed his possible future plans to visit Edo State? That's on the one hand. Secondly, I want you to speak to this issue around the planned rally, because it was his birthday over the weekend, right? And people were doing lots of things. I saw people giving free haircuts and all of that about his birthday. But in Kaduna State, the police put out a statement saying, well, with the planned primary elections by political parties to hold on the same day that Obi supporters planned their rally, the police command notes that the rally will overlap and disrupt several areas designated for the conduct of the party primaries, thereby posing a significant risk. And that's why the police said, well, this shouldn't hold. So how is Mr. Peter Obi also receiving that one in that sense? It's not him, it's the obedient movement in that sense, but does he see that as directed at him in any sense, or he's not taking issues with that one? So two questions.
Mr. Peter Obi is somebody that has shown himself to be a cut above the rest. He's a man who, and those of us who follow him, we are people who obey law and order. You can see that even when it was cancelled, there was no, people like to portray the obedience as troublesome, as violent, and every day we've thrown even the kitchen sink at us. But you can see that he was celebrated all over the nation, and there was no crisis. It was peaceful. People, obedience, came out using their own personal resources to do, there were free haircuts, they were buying fuel for commuters, they were paying transporters for the commuters, they were buying fuel for commercial buses, commercial tricycles, from north, south, east, west. It was fantastic to watch. As a person, I was just generally so proud of the obedience. And as you know, there was no violence anywhere in sight. It's the prerogative of the police to say, okay, and they gave reasons. They explained to us why, that there were elections that were going to happen on the same day. So for caution, and that's the way it should have been done. So I think the Kaduna State Police have taught Edo State governor how best to approach a situation. They did that very professionally. And the obedient movement did what they do best. They found a way around it, and they still went on with the celebration. They went to orphanages, they went to the prisons, they went to correctional centers, they went to the IDP camps, and they gave people food. It was a carryover. So it's the infectiousness of Peter Obi's charity. And I come from a faith where we believe very strongly in giving charity, and it's fantastic to see that the obedience have been infected with goodness and sharing love and caring, being their brother's keeper. So on Saturday wasn't about tribe, religion, or creed, or it was about Nigeria. It didn't matter whether you were obedient or not. Obedience went and celebrated their principle, and we called it an obedient day of service. So I think obedience did well. Kudos to the obedient movement. Thank you for always raising the bar to the obedient movement. Thank you to the obedient movement for
we have to take a break
always
now.
changing the narrative. My mother always said something. She said, when people treat you a certain way, always come in the opposite direction. Right. When somebody treats you bad, instead pay them back with love and respect and just wish them well. And I think that's what the obedient movement came out and did
for the first
successfully,
bit of the question,
peacefully on Saturday.
Yeah, if you can hear me, we're due for a break now. For the first bit of the question, would Mr. Peter Obi still be going to Edo State in spite of all of this?
Don't put me on the spot like that, Kayode. I cannot answer that question. It was his birthday on Saturday. All I did was wish him a happy birthday. We haven't delved into the real matter of whether or not, but I see no reason why he should be stopped from visiting any state within Nigeria. That is his constitutional right. So don't be mischievous, Kayode, please. Thank you very much.
Well, I take exception to that. That was a simple question put to you. There was no mischief meant.
It was very mischievous.
It wasn't. It was a simple question put out to you.
What you're trying to do is you're trying to railroad us into an already very dicey situation, and that's very unfair, Mr. Kayode.
Nana Kazore, we have to thank you for your time. I will not get deeper into that, but it was a question in good faith, and I wish you see it as that. And that's what it is, because we are speaking to these issues. But we have to thank you for your time. We're due for a break now. I understand you have other engagements. But thank you, wish you the very best. But when we return, there's more we have with the Commissioner for Information in Edo State. So please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Still speaking to, well, the back and forth between Governor Monday Okpebholo of Edo State and, of course, the obedient movement regarding the comments made about Mr. Peter Obi's visit, that he should get security clearance and all of that. And the Commissioner for Information, Honorable Paul Ohambamu, is still with us on the program. Earlier on, we had a spokesperson for the obedient movement, Nana Kazore. But Mr. Commissioner, quite a number of points raised by Nana Kazore. First, she spoke about on how the Kaduna police handled this, saying that that should be the standard way to handle issues like this and not the way the governor handled it. I did ask her if Mr. Peter Obi will be visiting in spite of this, but she didn't quite speak to it. But she said particularly that, well, she sees no reason why he shouldn't visit since he's a citizen. So just to be clear, are you saying as of today, if Mr. Peter Obi wants to visit Edo State, he should not come without going through the process that was spoken to by the governor?
Thank you very much. First of all, Peter Obi should be a gentleman amongst gentlemen. He's not the only one traveling to other states. If others can follow the procedure and observe protocols, what is wrong for Peter Obi to do so? He also exhibited this same character in Benue. That's why I sent earlier, the governor of Benue State stopped him, blocked him from going to the IDP. So let me even respond to what Madam Nana said. She quoted John Donne. Very good. The death of one man diminishes the world. That is correct. John Donne made that statement following the death of T.S. Eliot. So he was mourning T.S. Eliot. But the beginning of that write-up, of that work, John Donne said, all men will die, that we are all equal before the law, and that it is better for us to sleep with our hands clean, either kept clean or through the day by integrity, or washed clean at night through repentance. We all belong to the same author. We are from the same author. And that once a person dies, that particular chapter is not taken off. It is translated into a bigger language. And when the bell rings to a sermon, it calls not only the congregation, but the clergy as well. What I'm saying here is that there must not be double morality, no two moralities. What applies to one must apply to the other, mutatis mutandis. As for Kaduna episode, you should know that the objective conditions are different. This is the 7th month of the governor of Governor Okpebholo's governance in government, and he inherited a lot of maladies, including kidnapping, including serious killings, court activities, and he has given credence to 2 legislations from the House of Assembly, the law against kidnapping and the one against courtism, with stiffer penalties. So the fertile ground they were operating, it started contaminating them. So this resurgence of killings and violence is a sort of, a terror coming back, playing back, wanting to avenge what has done to them. So you cannot compare the two. What is happening in Kaduna is different from what is happening in Edo. So we must put things in proper perspective. The governor has said, let me know when you are coming to Benin. That is the normal standard. If you cannot respect the governor, you feel you are too big, and no one did it to you. As I said, he detained El-Rufai for 48 hours. That was arrogance of power. That was trivialization of someone's rights. And above all, the pathological fixation on the capture and use of raw power. He exhibited that. So Okpebholo cannot do that because it's not given to such character. It's easygoing. So this one countered the statement by Nana that Peter Obi is law-abiding. Law-abiding and you will detain someone. When the law even says 24 hours for police or take the person to court, you even exceeded that because of politics. And you say such a person is law-abiding. He's not, by my own estimation. He's not law-abiding. I think he's just creating euphoria that does not exist. We saw it in the election.
All right. Honorable Obama, we understand the politics, that is coloring this particular, scenario and the subsequent back and forth between the Edo State government and the obedient movement. But some would say that in spite of the politics, that this is a bit too much of a coincidence when you consider that it has happened in Benue, it has happened in Kaduna, and it's happening now in Edo State. And we know the performance of Edo State in the last presidential election. And of course, Nana Kazaure spoke to it when she said earlier on that perhaps the she understands that the government is riled up by Peter Obi and his emerging popularity, particularly ahead of the 2023 presidential election. So is that what is playing out with the ruling party? Is the ruling party threatened by the Peter Obi figure and his influence ahead of the 2027 presidential election this time?
Thank you very much. Peter Obi is the least of our worries. APC can be threatened because of Peter Obi. What is he going to do differently? Ask Peter Obi what he will even do when he becomes president. He will tell you, let me get there first. No clear-cut blueprint of what he wants to do. Just like that character, Bazaros, in the book Father and Son, written by the great Russian author, Ivan Turgenev, who said all he wants to do is to destroy all the institutions and pull down the system. And when he was asked, with what will you replace the system, he simply said, let it come down first. That shows somebody who is not even prepared. And that is the character we have in Peter Obi. How did he fare? Even in the southeast, where he's from, they only have one governor. That is Abia. APC has two in its dominance there, both Imo and Ebonyi. Enugu is for PDP, and of course, Anambra, Agda. So where is his dominance? So Peter Obi is the least of our worries. He's just struggling in error. And I can assure you, his defeat is in fixed deposit.
But Honorable Hobamo, you haven't quite linked, I wonder if I have missed it, you haven't linked evidence that indeed proves that his visit had anything to do with the violence that erupted in Edo State. And besides that, if it was just security concerns, why was the governor also speaking to the donation that he made? Doesn't he have the right as an individual to make a donation to people?
He has the right. The truth of the matter is, somebody, you know, the governor made the statement. He said, someone said, I don't give shishi. So it was a clear cause of two moralities, someone presenting such a contrast between mind and body. You say you cannot give shishi. Nothing is wrong in you donating money, giving money, but you are giving the impression that your generosity and all you can give can exist in active and actual austerity, that you don't give the way others do it. So what the governor is just saying, that this is outright hypocrisy, and that it is embedded in fraud, deceit. And deceit is fraud. Fraud is corruption. If you say you will give money, not I don't give shishi. Even Nana said the first installment was 20 million, the second one, but it's different from what we know. I even believe that Peter Obi cannot give. There is all other politicians. The meaning now is that Peter Obi also subscribes to Thorstein Veblen's theory of the leisure class, because this is clear exhibition of conspicuous consumption. So I see different from others. That is just what the governor is talking about. And that is even aside. The real gravamen of our contention is that Peter Obi should behave the way other civilized people behave and follow the standard laid down, respect the protocol, because Edo State is not lawless. It's under a governor, and the governor is doing well, and the people know. Somebody who for 7 months has constructed 278 kilometer stretch of roads. Somebody who is building the first flyover. He has touched education. He has touched infrastructure, all facets. So the Edo people, they are happy with him. For once, they now know that government can be for governance and not for looting. He has exhibited that. So when he's talking, he knows what he's saying. He's fighting courtesan. He's fighting criminality, kidnapping. So,
pardon me quickly. So you've not spoken to the link.
Peter Obi
Lincoln, Mr. Peter.
Himself.
Right. You've not spoken to
that link. Excuse me. The governor made that statement.
So how can we link it?
Level, I'm coming, sir.
Yes.
If you know the level of intelligence reports in the governor's hands, I was surprised when Nana was saying they did not hear. Is it only the governor that heard? They did not do this. Why should they say that? It's unfortunate because the governor has a way of getting his facts.
So is that something you would like to share with Nigerians? I mean, let's place all the facts on the table. So this is not seen as a political witch hunt.
Said this,
if there's evidence, let's put it out there.
Yes, he said the stampede that followed Peter Obi's visit resulted in casualties and 3 deaths occurred. And we cannot just sit and say the governor does not know what he's doing.
So you're saying Mr. Peter Obi's visit to the
So what the governor is even saying now is that when you are coming next to avoid all this, for the wellness of everyone, including Peter Obi and everybody, inform us so that we put necessary security in terms of crowd control. Even when you leave, there will not be stampede. These are the issues now.
Just to be clear, Honorable Commissioner, rather, are you saying the visit to the School of Nursing by Mr. Peter Obi caused a stampede that led to the death of, is it 3 people now?
Yes. Intelligence report brought it out. 2 died in the hospital. They rushed them, actually. Let me tell you, many of these things, we don't alarm the public with some of these things. And you know that anywhere Obi enters, there's this euphoria. People who don't know him deeply, who just see him and they see, this is Obi, the Messiah they want. And they rush after him. And that euphoria, ecstasy, can cause stampede.
Just to be...
But it did not reflect in vote.
Is it the same visit that we're seeing on the screen that you're referring to? And is the school authority also aware of this fatality that you speak to, or is only the government that is aware?
Obi, apart from going to that school, went to other places. He cannot just go to that school and go like that. When Obi comes to a place, there is another place he can go to. There are other places. People are waiting for him. But people along the road and all.
Okay, this stampede you speak to, was it at this visit or another visit? Just to be clear again.
No, this July 7th. That's why he has been visiting now, and the governor has not taken it serious. It's because of this incident. And he does not want casualties in the state. He's a man of peace, and he's giving to civility.
At the risk of seeming to overflog the issue, are you saying that it was as a result of the visit to the School of Nursing or to other places? Where exactly did this stampede?
His visit was not only School of Nursing. They are just hiding facts from you people.
And so where exactly did this stampede happen? Where exactly did it happen in Edo State?
You said?
Where exactly did this stampede happen in Edo State?
In Benin, they took some of them to the hospital. And they are in Benin. They couldn't have taken anybody from Ekboma to Benin now.
Honorable Hambamo, you're not answering the question directly. Where exactly, which location in Benin did the stampede happen?
I did not follow Peter Obi in the itinerary to where he followed. But I know that that was what happened. I was even supposed to address the press on it. They said, don't panic the public.
So
you know?
Well, Commissioner...
Peter Obi knows all this.
Well,
Peter Obi knows all this.
These
some
details,
we are taking...
Okay, go on.
You said? Some we are taking. He saw some being taken away. When you stampede, people will step on human beings.
But a stampede is a big incident that cannot be ignored, that could have been reported, that would have caught the attention of the press. So if indeed it is related to any of the visits of Mr. Peter Obi to Edo State, it should have come through, and it shouldn't be anything that would be a matter of debate or controversy. So can you tell us where exactly it happened in Benin City or in other parts of Edo State?
I know that he visited St. Philomena, where I gave them money, and other places I didn't follow him. But after the whole thing, that what happened. Of course, you know that when things happen like this, it's just like when there is crisis. Anybody can take advantage to injure his former enemy. But why should there be crisis? Why should there be stampede? Why should there be that kind of ecstasy, rush, and all? If police Security operatives were on ground to control those things. Nothing like that would have happened.
Okay. Honorable Commissioner, we appreciate the information you're giving us, but just so that there can be irrefutable proof and evidence, are you able to provide evidence as to these fatalities that you speak to? I mean, it shouldn't be hard to prove. Are you able to get back to us today with evidence to show Nigerians that indeed what you say is true?
I have Kayode's number, yes, if that's what you want. But I am telling you, the governor is really serious about the security in Edo, sanity in Edo, and this is why he gave that security advisory that respect the protocol. People are becoming, I know how many times I have gone to the airport to receive people. We know how many times the security will block everywhere to ensure that visitors are taken care of. It's not a question of party now. After all, the governor went to Kanu. Kanu is NNPP. The governor went to Akwa Ibom when he was under PDP. The governor went to Delta under PDP. The only place the governor has gone to with the same practice of informing the governor that his APC was Imo under Kopuzodima. No big deal about this thing. It's the normal standard.
Okay, so we'll expect evidence to be sent to us so we can also show Nigerians if indeed what you speak to is true, because it's important to ensure that the truth is put out there.
You celebrated in the course of telling the world Obi's birthday. It was full celebration.
How do you mean you people, Commissioner?
With Nana. Okay, I'm sorry. My brother, you know, I'm talking to you.
Oh, yes.
Be, you know.
You said we celebrated it.
When you were talking to Nana.
Yes, please go ahead.
And about the birthday of the celebration, all the things. Yes, I said it was more or less like celebration.
Okay, just to put it in context.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
We asked her a question and she spoke about it and also celebrated him. So when you say we,
okay, let me now tell you.
My colleague did. But I want you to, maybe you can speak to that, but also a very important point. Pardon me, just a second.
With that.
Honorable Commissioner, just a second. Just a second, you get to speak. But I want to add this to it. When you said that Mr. Peter Obi is the least of your concerns, well, that may be true, really, because dengue fever is also a big deal in Edo State. We spoke to the NCDC DG, who had told us that over 10 people have died as a result of dengue fever in Edo State. So maybe that's one of your biggest concerns. So do you want to also speak to that in addition to the political bit? Because that's also important.
No, let me tell you. When that time, the objective condition then has been altered. As we speak, there's no Labour Party in Benin, in Edo State. All their representatives, the senator, the House of Reps, they have all entered the APC. So just like PDP, that has no representative at the National Assembly, I can tell you that both Labour Party and PDP are allowed a matchbox without matchstick. So nothing. When I say it's the list of our worries, it's not the one that can truncate the straight, process of President Tinubu becoming president, going back second term. No, he cannot. He cannot. And you will see it. I will also come to your studio. We will celebrate. That will be the final epitaph on Labour and PDP.
All right, we'll see about that, Honorable Commissioner, but you haven't spoken to the concern about dengue fever in Edo State, which my colleague spoke about earlier on. There are reports that about 10 people have died of dengue fever. Perhaps you also want to talk to us about the state of preparedness of primary healthcare centers in Edo State to respond to this emerging epidemic, according to the NCDC.
Yes. In fact, with the outbreak, when that disease broke out, the Commissioner for Health, that is Cyril Oshomole. When I say Cyril Oshomole now, I'm talking of Oshomole in his own right. Don't attach to her. Now, he was given the mandate, asked what to do. He went to UBTH, which is the federal, and gave aid, all the things they needed, procured by Governor Okpebolo, gave to UBTH. All our primary health care centers, they have equipped them. So personally, the commissioner sent someone to take my sample, blood sample, to test me on dengue fever, and thank God it was negative. I think it's negative. That is a plus for the Executive Council. So Governor Mode Okpebholo has done all to ensure, including Lassa. Apart from dengue fever, there's another devastating disease, fever, which is Lassa fever. They have put everything, the primary health care, they have been settled. All the equipment they need, they are all there. I can't be naming them now, I'm not a medical personnel. So, and you can see that there is a halt to the series of deaths.
All right. Of course, we'll verify all of that, talking also to laboratory testing kits, antigens, yes. Subsequently, yes. To confirm indeed what you have said. But you said earlier on that you were talking about the Commissioner for Health as Oshomole is in his own right. It's important to also put it in proper perspective that Cyril Oshomole is Senator Adams Oshomole's son, is also important information. But Kari also has a few words.
But yes, I know why I said in his own right. We have seen philosophers and teachers like Socrates who have wayward children and students. So when I say in his own right, he has built his own career and he's doing well.
All right.
That's what I mean.
Fantastic.
So let me talk now. Let me also celebrate the governor in terms of achievement. Fantastic. Since you also gave time to Nana.
Well, in fact, we'll give you a minute, Honorable Commissioner. We'll give you a minute, but let's also celebrate you for that negative result that you got.
Thank you.
There's enough celebrations to go around. But you have a minute to speak to whatever you want to speak to.
Thank you very much. Governor Mode Okpebholo has touched all facets in Edo State. In the first place, the main university, the only university we have, that is San Bruce Ali University. Before he came, the monthly allocation subvention to that school was 41 million every month by Godwin Obaseki. But somebody who is serious about education, when he came, the first thing he did was to increase it to 500 million. And that very month of November, he started giving out. In that same school, about 128 doctors were not inducted because of some lacunas. Within 100 days, he did the necessary things, and they have all been inducted. All the people that were driven using seats, which Obaseki put in place, that is a special intervention team, which he used to perpetuate his dominance over others. All the professors and other laborers in the school were all returned, and they have all been paid their arrears. So, in infrastructure, roads, I tell you, 278 kilometer stretch has been done. Going on to near completion, some midway. Even in the rains, they are still working. The first ever flyover, and you know that to construct a bridge or a flyover is to reinvent commerce. He has done that. He has employed over 5,000 personnel, workers. It was supposed to say 2,500 for teaching, cadre, and so many others. Now, in security, he bought over 150 brand new Toyota Hilux vans to security operatives. Over 1,000 motorbikes, power bikes, for people to pursue kidnappers into the bushes. He did that. And he also put into place legal machinery, that is legal framework, institutional framework for all this to work. So he has made,
I think we've given more than enough time.
They passed new law against cultism.
So what we'll do is maybe we'll get to visit Edo State to speak to some of these things as well. Hopefully have a conversation with His Excellency. But we have to anchor at this point. That is more than enough celebration that you have done, both for yourself and for the Governor, Mode Okpebholo. But Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communications, Edo State, Mr. Paul Ohonbamu, we have to thank you so much for your time and wish Senator Mode Okpebholo the very best. It's a Monday morning, so thank you and all the best.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a moment now. We have our correspondent, Cecilia Morgbe, joining us from Morocco. to speak about WAFCON. In just a moment. I mean, the Super Falcons did some great work, and they're about to do more. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. So let's touch base, as I say, with Cecilia Morgbe, who's covering the WAFCON competition, the Super Falcons. They finish work, as they say in Pidgin. Cecilia, good morning.
Good morning, Kaya. It's great to join you again.
It's good to have you, Cecilia. Our girls doing us proud. You know, they went from being heavy on the field to people doubting them, and then it just hit Zambia 5-0. You know, it was excitement all the way. 5-0. Cecilia, we were predicting 2-1, you know, a tough match. But 5-0. What happened? How did that? Speak to us about it.
Yeah, we're also surprised by that scoreline. When Rallies scored within 2 minutes when the game started, we knew that something else was going to happen on that day. You know, when I was talking about the game on Friday, I wasn't 100% sure we could win. But like, I think I said 85% or something like that. But the confidence the girls had, you know, when they entered the stadium, and then I saw the way they were looking, I knew something different was going to happen. But I didn't expect that we were going to beat Zambia 5-0. You know, because that was something unexpected. But back to what it is, Rashida Ajibade said something at the press when I posed some questions to her. What did she tell the girls, you know, before they went into the field? She said something about them knowing that when they are pushed to the wall, that's when they bounce back. And not just that, when people underrate them, that's when they put in their best. People just felt, oh, that's the end of the road for Super Falcons. But they had to tell themselves, look, they're here to make history. They're here to ensure that what the likes of Messi Akide and those other stars have done in the past, they wouldn't want to dent that record. 27-year history of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Nigeria has never left so early at that stage. So they wouldn't want to have that unwanted record. So they have to tell themselves what they needed to do. And when I saw the lineup was something that took everybody off, because you're looking at a lineup that you're like, why are you starting Jamilisu for Lashade, someone who has had like 20 minutes all through the group. They had, I think, less than 20 minutes of the game. He trusted her to start. And you look at the full lineup, the changes that were made, as these players came to the party, I think that also threw the Zambians off. Looking at, say, Barbara Banda and Rachel were thinking I'm Grace because they all play in NWSL right in the US, thinking Asisa was going to be one of those that will start. But they didn't see Aziza on the field of play until close to the 70th or 80th minute when she came on as a sub. And then we saw the walk-ins she did in the little time she was on the field. So that alone threw them up. We've seen the coach actually using different tactics and different formation whenever he's facing an opponent. It says something about him him playing according to what the opponent dictates. You're going to look at what the opponent is bringing at you. That's how you're going to know how to approach every game. So for him, every game is different. We saw what happened in the game between Tunisia and Nigeria against Botswana. We saw what happened. Against Algeria also, something else happened. He made like 9 changes or thereabout. And then against Zambia, we saw something different entirely. So when you have a coach that is not predictable, it's actually hard to beat that team. I think he sets up the team high and press forward, and then when you get the opportunity, you just get the goals. And these players, every one of them on the field on Friday actually came to the party.
So, Cecilia, thrilling performance. Perhaps we should be praying that they should be underestimated more often so that we can we can get more of these results.
Yeah.
But talk to us about the coach's approach to put Asisat Oshoala and what's the name of the other player now? on the bench and replace them with Chiwendu Ihezuo and Esther Okoronko. Of course, this paid off, but are there concerns over particularly Asisat's performance? Of course, former captain with an incredible record, whether it's playing for the national team or for her international gigs.
No, there are really no concerns because, as I mentioned earlier, we know the coach understands that the Zambia team, the firepower, the three players I mentioned, Grace, Rachel, and Barbara, they understand that game. They play together. Rachel and Asisat playing the AFC together. So they understand each other. So for you to throw them off, you need to give them something they don't expect. If you saw when Asisat came in, players were on her. Just twice that she was able to, outrun her opponent trying to score, and she missed 2 chances. So that tells you that if Asisat was there from the very beginning, I mean, focus will be on her. There might even be an injury in the sense that, we saw what they were doing, kicking the girls. Jennifer complained when I was talking to her at the mid zone, because she's literally limped out when she was substituted. She says that one of the players actually, matched her toe. So that physicality was there. So the coach understood that if Asisat starts this game, all eyes will definitely be on her. And that may not work well for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And of course, may not work well for the team. There's no concern about her performance. But she came on, a few minutes, she came on like 80th minutes or something minutes. I need to find out how many minutes she came on. But she came on much, much later in the game when Nigeria were already, I think, 3 goals up. That's when she came, into the field. She went to his way. She came out as a sub the first game, the second game, and she started the third game. She has scored 3 goals so far. So that really is not a worry because we know that she can score goals. She's also a striker like her sister Oshola. There's nothing as good as you having so many options. She has given so much for the national team. I mean, 6 times African Player of the Year. I mean, you saw her at Barcelona, 83 goals in 89 games, also when she was at Barcelona. So this is a player I've done so much for. She has won 4 African Women's Championships. So she's done so much. So you now have other players coming through the ranks from the under-17, under-20 level, building up. So she's one of the experienced players on the field. And her presence alone is something. When you're talking about Nigeria, you talk about Asisat Oshola, and you know that leadership, that command, that experience is there. And when you have that, I think that's what she brings into the team. And the fact that if you check the last goal that was scored by Jamilisu, she was right there. She allowed the ball to move, and Jamilisu was right there, and she tucked it in. So she could have decided to go for that ball, because when the cross was coming, she was just in the mix inside the 18-yard box. But I think what she's bringing into the team happens to be that leadership, that experience, and the fact that she's more like, if you're on her, you know that other players will be there to step up. If you check what happened in 2022 when she got injured in her very first game, all throughout the tournament, that fear factor wasn't there anymore. But just having her in the team alone, that leadership quality is something you can really take away from Asisat Oshola.
They now have South Africa to face. I want to just listen to what Plumter said about wanting to meet South Africa, and voila, we have to meet South Africa at the semi-finals. So let's take a listen to Ashley Plumter on this.
Just like a privilege to represent this group and the fans who love the Super Falcons so much. Yeah, whoever comes. I think I did say, like, I played South Africa before and I lost against them, so it'd be nice to play them again. And I have a couple of friends that are South African or support South Africa, so it'd be nice to play in that sense.
And we're going to meet South Africa. Last time we had the competitive match together, they won. The one before that, we won. Cecilia, help us out with a prediction. Who's winning the South Africa match?
South Africans, yes, we've had 7 different scorers so far. And Nigerians will have like 6 different scorers. Chiwendu scoring 3, and you have 5 other players scoring. That tells you that maybe when it comes to scoring, you really can't predict who's going to come on and fire a team to victory. But the goalkeeper is someone we actually need to watch it for. I mean, she's made like up to 13 saves so far in this tournament, and then keeping clean sheets. And not just that, what they did against Senegal, we saw that Senegal, tried their best to see how they can take them out. But it didn't happen. They went to penalties. And of course, Yamini happens to be a player, a goalkeeper that, she knows how to actually handle handle her when she's within the six, within the post. She knows how to actually handle every ball that comes to her. I think that's something we actually need to be careful of. But another thing is we saw South Africa build up to the tournament. Yeah, they had a fantastic build up. At first, they had issues with non-payment of salaries, but they sorted that out, and now they are really in the tournament. But I think South Africa really poses a threat. As you said earlier, 2018, it wasn't the final when Nigeria, South Africa met, and Nigeria, that was the last time won the title, and South Africa won the very last edition. They defending champions, Nigeria 9-time champions. When it comes to pedigree, you really can't compare because Nigeria kind of own WAFCON. Out of 13, they won 9. That tells you a lot. And most times, the last time was they finished fourth, and of course Nigerians, came for their head. But this time around, we've seen the progression they've made. Yeah.
So Mission X is still possible, Cecilia. We want to thank you.
Yes, it's still very possible.
We have to thank you so much for always pulling you out to speak to us. Wish you, all of us, the very best. Our correspondent and sports anchor Cecilia Morgbe, speaking to us live from Morocco. Thank you. Thank you. Let's head over to the nation's capital, Abuja. Today is the day for the police protests, retired police officers, even some serving, as we understand. And our correspondent, Benny Ark, is live for us in the nation's capital, Abuja, at one of the venues of the protest there. Benny Ark, speak to us, please. It was meant to start 7, or they were meant to gather at 7, but what do you see there now, Benny Ark?
Good morning, Howdy. We're standing right in what I'm assuming meters away from the Louis Eden House, that's the Nigerian Police Force headquarters here in Abuja. The protest, which was meant to commence from 7 a.m. as it stands right now, there are no signs of the protest now. But what we can see, if my cameraman can just pan to my left and the right, there's heavy security presence, guarding, condoning off roads. But as it stands right now, there are no signs of the protesters anywhere around the Louis Eden, the Nigerian Police Force headquarters currently.
Benny, thank you for the update, but please get back to us as soon as you have. Our correspondent there, Benny Ark, giving us a live reporting of a planned police protest, this time in the nation's capital. Thank you very much, Benny.
Well, Kade, the day is still young and anything could happen, but we hope for the best, that it would be positive all the way. But we'll keep tabs with happenings in the nation's capital and indeed in other parts of the country as far as the planned protests by men of the police force is concerned. And this is where we touch down on the program today, and we're thanking you very much for your time and company. Of course, we'll be here all through the week. And so go ahead and make a difference today. I am Bukola Koka.
I'm Kaido Kikili. Sunrise Daily is next. Goodbye.